Hello everyone, we are the Group 1 and our topic is about understanding personal finance and career planning. For our objectives, we have the building blocks to achieving personal financial success. Next, the economy affects your personal financial success. And then, think like as economists when making financial decisions. And then, the time value of money, setting dollar values and financial goals, and then make smart money decisions at work. For its continuation, we have where to seek expert financial advice, the key steps in successful career planning, know your preferred work style personally, and then financial and legal aspect of employment, and lastly we have effective employment search strategies. For our introduction, so your financial sustainability depends on having income to support your spending, saving, and investing. A primary component of your income, especially earlier in your adult life, is income from your wages or salary, that is, from working or selling your labor. Your ability to maximize the price that your labor can bring depends on the labor market you choose and your ability to sell yourself. Those abilities will be called on throughout your working life. You will make job and career choices for many different reasons. This chapter looks only at the financial context of those choices. Hello everyone, I am Donable Alam, and now I am going to discuss to you about understanding personal finance and career planning. So for our introduction, I am going to define what is personal finance and career planning. For personal finance, it is a term that covers the concepts of managing your money, saving, and investing. It also includes banking, budgeting, mortgages, investments, insurance, retirement planning, and tax planning. One can consider that personal finance comprises the entire industry that provides financial services to individuals and advises them about financial and investment opportunities. Now for career planning. The career planning process allows you to identify your strengths and interests so you can discover professional opportunities you're likely to enjoy and excel in. This process includes a series of simple steps and can be reused throughout your career path to ensure you're working towards goals that still satisfy you. In this article, we explore the steps of the career planning process and detail how to complete each stage. And now, let's proceed to the building blocks to achieving personal financial success. So if you spend more than you earn, you have a negative cash flow. You are losing wealth and in danger of going into debt. Or, if you're already in debt, you're digging the hole deeper. So if you spend less than you earn, you have a positive cash flow, which will let you climb out of a debt and build wealth. So today's marketplace provides a constant barrage of messages suggesting that you can spend and borrow your way to financial success, security, and wealth. These messages are very enticing for those starting out in their financial lives. In truth, overspending and overuse of consumer credit actually embed financial success. So, personal finance comprises three essential skills. We have earning, which is your ability to bring in money. We have spending, which is your ability to live frugally and spend wisely. And then we have saving. It is your ability to produce a surplus and to make that surplus grow. Now, I am going to discuss to you the building blocks for financial success. We have here the 5 building blocks for financial success. We have decipher your debt, get to save, build credit to build your future, invest in your goals, and ensure your future. So many people think that being wealthy is a function of how much you earn or inherit. In reality, it is much more closely related to your ability to understand the trade-offs and decisions that generate wealth for you. A trade-off is giving up one thing for another. So, for example, it is wise to give up some current spending in order to enjoy a financially comfortable retirement. You have to do only a few things right in personal finance during your lifetime. As long as you don't do too many things wrong, personal finance is not a rocket science. You can succeed very well in your personal finances by making appropriate plans and taking actions to implement those plans. Now let's discuss about decipher your debt. So it may sound counterintuitive, but it's crucial to understand and utilize the difference between good and bad debt. So debt gets a bad rap, says Megan Malloy, a certified financial planner and a First Republic Eagle Invest advisor. So, but good debt can actually mean that you have made a wise investment in your future. For instance, student loan debt means you earned an education to build and secure professional success, and a mortgage means you're building equity as a home owner. So Malloy notes that keeping some debt is healthy for overall financial wellness, demonstrating that you don't have to pay off your debt in full before starting to invest. So even if it feels better to pay off your debt completely, a good rule of thumb is to maintain payments on any debt with a rate of 5% or lower. So, for any loans with repayment rates above 5%, consider reducing those debts as quickly as possible. Reducing your debt can achieve by paying down or consolidating student loans or by refinancing your car or mortgage. So just keep in mind that all debt is not created equal. A seasoned financial advisor can help you assess different types of debt, how to create the right balance of debt maintenance, and opportunities to save and invest. Now, let us proceed to get set to save. So, budgeting is a crucial part of being able to pay down debt, since setting up a budget prepares you to start saving for the long term. So think of a budgeting as a directly financing your goals, says Malloy. So she suggests working with an advisor to establish an overview of your financial roadmap. Then consider the most straightforward routes of budgeting and saving automatically. So, such as setting up an automatic transfer to move money from your checking to savings account each month. But hopefully, you don't have to touch those funds. But if a sudden job loss or other life change catches you off guard, having a backup plan reduces the likelihood of you having to make other difficult liquidation decisions right away. So there are also special tax-deferred and tax-free types of saving. So you can open in advance of a life event, such as 529 plan or anything. So your child doesn't have to be born or even be on the way to establish an education savings fund. However, choose to save. First, Republic Managing Director and Relationship Manager Gigi Garza recommends save early and often. And now, let's proceed to build credit to build your future. So if you know your credit score, then you know how financially institutions you use, says Garza. But don't check your credit score constantly, because every time you or the institution or on your behalf now request a creditor for a hard pull of your complete credit report, it can bring down your overall score. So checking your score once every 6 months should suffice, and many credit card companies provide soft monitoring services that won't damage your score, so you can check more often. So healthy credit is the number one way to ensure you'll be pre-approved for the luxury car of your dreams or be able to buy the first home. But no matter what goal you're trying to finance, Garza advises again that spending every last dime you have is against. So, even when you're buying a home, it is crucial to keep that emergency savings fund liquid to avoid being caught financially flat-footed. So the following steps should get you on track to proper credit score hygiene. So pay off your credit cards on time or early or each month. And then ask for credit line increases as appropriate. And then keep older lines of credit and accounts open. So if you don't use them. And then we also have invest in your goals. So when it comes to investing in the stock market and mutual funds, the best time to start is always as soon as possible. So there's no necessary age, life situation, or amount of money to begin building your investment portfolio, Molloy says. So in fact, starting young or with a little money means you will compound more interest for a longer period of time. So each investment type serves a purpose, such as steady or accelerated returns. Stocks are the growth engine of your portfolio, says Jeff Pullman. So, chartered financial analyst and a First Republic vice president and a research analyst. So he advises that finding the right balance of stocks and bonds that align with your appetite for risk. So then stay the course, avoid trying time when to get in and out of the stock market. So when it comes to investing for retirement, it is important to make the maximum contribution you can, especially if your employer offers 401k matching. So take advantage of the tax break while also building your post-employment years. So if you're self-employed, ask a financial advisor what type of Roth or simplified employee pension or SEP or IRA or ERA or even a personal advisor may be available for alternatives to traditional retirement contributions. Lastly, we have insure your future. So in addition to an emergency saving funds, insurance policies can help insulate you and your loved ones from unforeseen life changes. As with investing, it's never too early for estate planning. Write down your wishes and select trusted loved ones you'd want to handle your affairs. So both personal and financial. In a crisis, it's always better to be prepared. So it also pays off to open life insurance policy early, as coverage is based on your health and will only get more expensive as you age. So lock in a low rate when you're young and you'll be able to afford superior coverage. And then employers often offer various types of coverage as well. Ask if your employee benefits include information about life or disability insurance, or perhaps even cover some premiums. So when Garza says, dream costs money. So every opportunity to boost your savings and investments and secure your financial future will bring you one step closer to achieving those dreams. So all of those says spend less to save and invest. So first, recognize that financial objectives are rarely achieved without foregoing or sacrificing current consumption like spending on goods and services. This restraint is accomplished by putting money into savings or income not spent on current consumption for use in achieving future goals. Some savings are actually investments, asset purchase with the goal of providing additional income from the asset itself. So, by saving and investing, people are much more likely to have funds available for future consumption. So, effective financial management often separates the haves from the have-nots. So, the haves, observes Virginia Tech professor Celia Hayhoe, are those people who earn to live on less than they earn and are the savers and investors of society. So, the have-nots are the spenders who live in a paycheck to paycheck. So, usually with a high consumer debt. In a short, follow the adage to spend some and save some. Saving for the future consumption represents a good illustration of the human desire to achieve a certain standard of living. This standard is what an individual or group earnestly desires and seeks to attain. To maintain if attained, to preserve is threatened, and to regain if lost. At any particular time, individuals actually experience their standard of living. In essence, your level of living is where you would like to be, and your level of living is where you actually are. So for financial success and happiness. Financial success is the achievement of financial aspirations that are desired, planned, or attempt. Success is defined by the person that seeks it. Some define financial success as being able to actually live according to one's standard of living. Many seek financial security, which provides the comfortable feeling that your financial resources will be adequate to fulfill any needs you have as well as most of your wants. Others want to be wealthy and have an abundance of money, property, investments, and other resources. So a fundamental truth of personal finance is that you cannot build financial security or wealth unless you spend less than you earn. As a result, you cannot reach your standard of living without somewhat restricting your level of living as you save and invest. That's the trade-off. So financial happiness encompasses a lot more than just making money. It is the satisfaction you feel about money matters. So people who are happy about their finances are likely to be in a control of their money. And this spills over in a positive way to feelings about their overall enjoyment of life. So financial happiness is in a part a result of practicing good financial behaviors. The subject of this discussion, examples of such behaviors include paying bills on time, spending less than you earn, knowing where your money goes, and investing some money for the future. The more good financial behaviors you practice, the greater your financial happiness. In fact, just making progress toward achieving financial goals contributes to financial happiness. Here are the building blocks to personal finance. So, Using the building blocks, it is a bridging the gap between one's level of living and one's desired standard of living involves learning about how to achieve financial success. So, one example is macroeconomic. A macroeconomic factor can include something that affects the course of direction of a given large-scale economy. Monetary policies and other regulations, for example, can affect a national and a state economies while also coming with potentially great global consequences. So inflation, gross domestic product, national income, and unemployment levels are examples of macroeconomic factors. So, such economic performance metrics are closely tracked by states, companies, and consumers alike. The correlation between various macroeconomic factors is extensively researched in the field of macroeconomics. So we have inflation, economic growth rate, price level, gross domestic product or GDP, national income, and unemployment level. So negative macroeconomic factors includes events that may threaten the national or global economy. It concerns of political uncertainty induced by the involvement of nation in civil or global conflict are likely to worsen economic unrest due to the redistribution of resources or damage to property, assets, and livelihoods. So, negative macroeconomics factors also include global pandemics. Example is a COVID-19 or a natural disasters such as hurricanes, earthquakes, flooding, and wildfires, and etc. We also have efficiency as one of the factors that affects personal finance. So the market of portable MP3 players, it is an example of efficiency, is saturated with numerous firms from around the globe. Demand remains high, but if economic problems such as unemployment continue to rise, the amount of disposable income for non-essential items will decline. This means that all firms will have to squeeze harder to gain more value from less labor without a declining market. Efficiency will thus become the main concern. So personal financial planning is a lifelong process. Your time horizon is as long as can be until the very end of your life, and during the time, your circumstances will change. So will change in predictable and unpredictable ways. So a financial plan has to be reevaluated, adjusted, and readjusted. It has to be flexible enough to be responsive to unanticipated needs and desires, robust enough to advance specific goals, and all the while be able to protect from unimagined risk. That would be all. Thank you.
Thinking like an economist when making financial decisions. Thinking like an economist can seem like a skill limited to solving a problems of the marketplace, but this type of thinking can be applied in many areas outside the field of economics. Thinking like an economist can help avoid irrational decision making, can aid professionals in improving the decisions that affect their lives, and can help you better understand the world around you. Once you learn to think like an economist, you will see how virtually all decisions, from something as small as where to go to dinner, to whether to begin a new career or go back to school for a master's degree, become clearer. What does thinking like an economist mean? At its most basic, thinking like an economist means evaluating the fact without allowing opinion or logical fallacies to enter into the calculation. Economic theory is fundamentally about the idea of scarcity. The idea of that everyone, individuals, corporations, and governments, only have limited resources and must decide how and where those resources will be allocated. Economists evaluate the cost of individual and social choices to determine the best choices for themselves or others in the face of this scarcity. Opportunity cost in decision making. What is opportunity cost? Opportunity cost is a macroeconomic term that relates to scarcity of resources. Scarcity of resources, be that time or money, means that we have to make decisions about how we use what we have. Because we have to choose, we can only have the benefits of one option and have to forego the benefits of the others. Opportunity cost is the cost of a foregone alternative. If you choose one alternative over another, then the cost of choosing that alternative is an opportunity cost. Opportunity cost is the benefits you lose by choosing one alternative over another one. Opportunity cost in business, where the principle of opportunity cost is of greatest value for a business is in deciding which business opportunities to pursue. For these decisions, autopilot absolutely has to be switched off. It is all too easy and common to unwittingly make decisions based on preconceptions. One option seems to be better from the outset, and this preconception then leads to an inaccurate assessment of the alternatives. Marginal utility and costs in decision making. Marginal costing is a very valuable decision and making techniques. It helps management to set prices, compare alternative production methods, set production activity levels, close production lines, and choose which of a range of potential products to manufacture. What is marginal decision making? A marginal decision making means considering a little more or a little less than what we already have. We have decided by using marginal analysis, which means comparing the costs and benefits of a little more or a little less. Marginal income tax rate in decision making. What is a marginal tax rate? A marginal tax rate is the tax rate that will apply to the next marginal, or what we call incremental, an amount of income or deductions. It is calculated by dividing the amount of additional taxes that will be due based on some decisions by the amount of income involved. Which tax rate is used for decision making? Your marginal tax rate is the rate of the extra tax you would pay if you earned $1 more. Normally, the marginal tax rate is relevant for financial decision making. The time value of money. Setting dollar values on financial goals. What is the role of money in setting financial goals? Money acts as an exchanging medium used in order to measure financial progress. It helps in quantifying the values of the resources. What are the components of a financial plan? A essential components to a financial plan. Number one is goals and objectives. Goals and objectives should be listed by priority and should be as specific as possible. Income tax planning. Number three is balance sheet, issues and problems, risk management and insurance, retirement, education and special needs, cash flow statement, investment planning. What is goal-based in financial planning? Goal-based financial planning is a method that allows clients to save for multiple financial objectives across various time horizons. A goal-based approach to financial planning is a philosophy that serves as the backbone or framework for a process that offers many benefits to both the client and the advisor. The future value of a single sum of money is important to business because it allows for the calculation of the rate of return of an investment. If a case is made to invest money into a new project such as an acquisition or an equipment purchased with a long holding period, it's important to have a way to calculate the potential return or profit you'll gain. Calculating the future value of an investment is the method used to generate return. Using this method, you see the effects of time and the interest rate on your investment. Calculating future values. What is the future value of an investment? The future value of a lump sum of money allows a small business owner to evaluate an investment, taking into account the current market rate of interest and the amount of time the investment will be held. How do you calculate the future value? There are three methods you can use to calculate the future value of an investment. The first method is to use the mathematical equation, and the other two methods are also based on the equation since it is the basis for the principle of time value of money. The calculation of future value determines the rate of return of an investment, all things held the same. Compounding, another word for future value, occurs when interest is paid on interest. There are certain economic climates that erode the power of the future value calculations. The last is calculating present values. Economists call the time or the present value of the money, and it's an equation that regular folks and business decision makers need to know about. Why? Because in giving proper balance and evaluation to the current and the future value of money, you're setting the stage for better financial and investment in decision making, which leads directly to more optimal personal financial outcomes down the road. What is present value? The present value of money is a financial formula used primarily by accountants and economists to calculate the present day value of a financial asset or assets that will be earned or received at a later date.
Make smart money decisions at work. Flexible benefit plans offer tax-free money. What is flexible benefit plans? Flexible benefit plans allow employees to choose the benefit they want or need from a package of programs offered by an employer. Flexible employee benefit plans may include health insurance, retirement benefits such as 401k plans, and reimbursement accounts that employees can use to pay for out-of-pocket health or dependent care expenses. In a flexible benefit plan, employees contribute to the cost of these benefits through a payroll deduction of their before-tax income, reducing the employer's contribution. In addition, the ability to pay for benefits with pre-tax income lowers an employee's taxable income while raising the amount of their take-home pay-in added benefit. In the short term, companies obviously benefit from sharing costs with employees, but a business may also choose to cap its future contributions to benefits by passing along increased costs to employees through these plans. Many businesses have begun to offer flexible benefits in order to retain a competitive benefits package for employees. There are several types of flexible benefit plans, including cafeteria plans and flexible spending accounts. Cafeteria plan is a type of flexible benefit plan known as a cafeteria plan enables employees to choose between receiving some or all of an employer's non-taxable benefits or receiving cash or other taxable benefits such as stock. Only certain benefits can be offered under a cafeteria plan, though employers may offer any or all of these benefits. These include health and group life insurance, as well as medical reimbursement plans for non-insured expenses, disability, dental and vision coverage, daycare or elder care, 401k plans, and vacation days. Tuition assistance and other fringe benefits are exempt from the plans, even if they are not taxable. A flexible spending account or FSA is a tax-deferred savings account established by an employer to help employees meet certain medical and dependent care expenses that are not covered under the employer's insurance plan. FSAs allows employees to contribute pre-tax dollars to an account set up by their employer. They can later withdraw these funds tax-free to pay for qualified health insurance premiums, out-of-pocket medical costs, daycare provider fees, or private preschool and kindergarten expense. Making decisions about employer-sponsored health care plans. What is an employer-sponsored plan? Employer-sponsored plans refer to employee benefits that are offered by an organization. These plans cover an array of services including retirement savings and healthcare. Employees who enroll in such programs capitalize on the benefit of receiving discounted services. On the other hand, employers offering these plans typically benefit from tax breaks. Also, sponsoring benefits is seen as a way to recruit and retain valuable employees. Tax advantages of employer-sponsored plans. First is the 401k and the second is the Roth 401k. To a 401k plan, it is done using pre-tax dollars contribution. Pre-tax means that money flows directly from the paycheck into the plan before the deduction of taxes. As a result, less of your income ends up getting taxed. Assessment of tax is at the point when funds are removed from the account, usually at a lower rate. With a Roth 401k, you contribute money to a plan on an after-tax basis. After-tax means that cash flows from your check into the plan after tax deductions. The trade-off is that qualified withdrawals later down the road are tax-free. A Roth 401k plan is a particularly useful tool if you end up in a lower tax bracket upon retirement. Making decisions about employers' flexible spending accounts. What is a flexible spending account? As I've said in the previous slide, a flexible spending account or FSA is a tax-deferred savings account established by an employer to help employees meet certain medical and dependent care expenses that are not covered under the employer's insurance plans. FSAs allows employees to contribute pre-tax dollars to an account set up by their employer. Let's say you earn $1,000 on your last paycheck and your employer deducts $50 for your FSA contribution. The funds in an FSA can be used to purchase prescriptions, eyeglasses, dependent care, dental appointments, disability treatments, and many other medical expenses. Remember, you can only get this plan through an employer. There are three main types of FSAs. First is the premium-only plans, which allow employees to set aside funds to pay medical and life insurance premiums. Second is the unreimbursed medical expense plans, which allow employees to set aside for projected healthcare expenses not covered by insurance. Third is the dependent care reimbursement plans, which allow employees to set aside money for daycare of dependent children. Employees must prove they have a legitimate expense in order to be reimbursed from these accounts. Making decisions about participating in employer insurance plans. What is health insurance? Health insurance is a type of insurance coverage that typically pays for medical, surgical, prescription drug, and sometimes dental expenses incurred by the insured. Health insurance can reimburse the insured for expenses incurred from illness or injury, or pay the care provider directly. It is often included in employer benefit packages as a means of enticing quality employees, with premiums partially covered by the employer but often also deducted from employee paychecks. The cost of health insurance premiums is deductible to the payer and the benefits received are tax-free. That's why an employer's health insurance benefits can add a lot to the appeal of a job. About 151 million Americans rely on employer-sponsored coverage. Making decisions about participating in your employer's retirement plans. What is retirement planning? Retirement planning refers to financial strategies of saving, investment, and ultimately the distribution of money meant to sustain oneself during retirement. The process of determining retirement income goals and the actions and decisions necessary to achieve those goals. Retirement planning is the planning one does to be prepared for life after paid works ends, not just financially but in all aspects of life. Retirement planning includes identifying sources of income, sizing up expenses, implementing a savings program, and managing assets and risks. Future cash flows are estimated to gauge whether the retirement income goal will be achieved. Retirement planning is ideally a lifelong process. You can start at any time, but it works best if you factor it into your financial planning from the beginning. That's the best way to ensure a safe, secure retirement. Retirement planning takes into account not only assets and income but also future expenses, liabilities, and life expectancy. It is never too early or too late, although earlier is better, to start retirement planning. Stages of retirement planning. First is the young adulthood, ages 21 to 35. Those embarking on adult life may not have a lot of money free to invest, but they do have time to let investments mature, which is a critical and valuable piece of retirement savings. This is because of the principle of compound interest. Compound interest allows interest to earn interest, and the more time you have, the more interest you will earn. Early midlife, 36 to 50 ages. Early midlife tends to bring a number of financial strains, including mortgages, student loans, insurance premiums, and credit card debt. However, it's critical to continue saving at this stage of retirement planning. The combination of earning more money and the time you still have to invest and earn interest makes these years some of the best for aggressive savings. People at this stage of retirement planning should continue to take advantage of any 401k matching programs their employers offer. Later midlife, 50 to 65. As you age, your investment accounts should become more conservative. While time is running out to save for people at this stage of retirement planning, there are a few advantages. Higher wages and potentially having some of the aforementioned expenses like more mortgages, so student loans, credit card debt, etc., paid off by this time can leave you with more disposable income to invest. Where to seek expert financial advice. A financial planner is a qualified investment professional who helps individuals and corporations meet their long-term financial objectives. Financial planners do their work by consulting with clients to analyze their goals, risk tolerance, and life or corporate stages, then identify a suitable class of investments for them. From there, they may set up a program to help the client meet those goals by distributing their available savings into a diversified collection of investments designed to grow or provide income as desired. Financial planners may also specialize in tax planning, asset allocation, risk management, and retirement and or estate planning. Financial planners must have sufficient education, training, and experience for clients to place trust in their recommendations. As evidence of these qualifications, a practitioner may earn and carry one or more professional designations. The most commonly held professional designation is the Certified Financial Planner or the CFP, which is owned and issued by the Certified Financial Planner Board of Standards, a nonprofit certifying and standards setting organization that administers the CFP exam. Certified Financial Planner is a formal credential of expertise in the areas of financial planning, taxes, insurance, estate planning, and retirement. How financial planners are compensated. There are three main ways financial advisors or planners make money. First is the client fees, usually charged either on an hourly basis or as a percentage of client assets under management. Second is the commissions for certain financial transactions, such as the sale of insurance products or the buying and selling of securities. Third is the salaries earned by on-staff advisors. For client fees, many financial advisors and firms will earn fees directly from their clients. A management fee for investment management services is frequently charged a percentage of the assets they are managing on your behalf. Fee percentages might differ depending on how much you have invested with a planner. If a financial planner is managing 1 million worth of investment for you and they charge a 1.5% management fee, you'd pay 15,000 on the year. Often those fees would be charged on a quarterly basis. In this type of fee arrangement, a financial advisor makes their money from commissions. These fees are earned when they recommend and sell specific financial products such as mutual funds or annuities to a client. For example, you might invest 5,000 into a mutual fund your advisor recommends. In turn, they receive a 3% commission fee, earning them 150. In salaries advisor, some advisors are paid a salary from the investment firm that employs them, rather than earning commissions or charging fees. These advisors may also have opportunities to earn bonuses or incentives for meeting certain milestones, such as onboarding a certain number of new clients each year.
Hello guys, so the next one is career planning. Career planning refers to the strategy of a person uses to determine career goals and the path to achieve those goals. The process integrates various activities including steps for self-improvement and the process of meeting these goals. The importance of career planning can't be overemphasized. Having a career plan is crucial for every person aspiring to become successful in life. It is a multi-stage process that needs to be thoroughly planned and executed to reap the desired benefits. Another meaning of the career planning is the process of discovering educational, training, and professional opportunities that suit your interests, passions, and goals. Before searching for jobs, you should set achievable long-term goals that identify what you want to be doing along your career path in or at 5 or 10, 15, 20 years and so on. Then, you can set short-term goals between each stage to ensure you have clear, actionable steps you can take to reach your long-term goals. Career planning allows you to outline your goals and to evaluate them as your progress. So, why do career planning? It is well established that most jobs that pay family-sustaining wages require some post-secondary education, that is, education beyond the high school level. By taking the time to plan for your career now, you increase the chances of completing your education and getting the job you want. It is important to note that the career planning process never ends at various points in your career. You may seek additional training or designation that can help you to continue to pursue your goals. In some cases, your career may take new turns, or you may choose to redefine yourself and your goals. Whatever phase you may be at your career, taking the time to the plan will help you to keep you focused and on a goal-oriented path. You can attempt to go through the career planning process on your own, or you can work with a career development professional who will help facilitate your journey. Working with a mentor or career development professional can be a great way to better understand the work your chosen careers involve, and also to learn about new opportunities you may not have been aware of within your industry. Career planning is the self-evaluation and planning done by a person to have a strong career path. Career planning process is the continuous relative process of understanding oneself, setting career goals, revising skills, and searching for the right career options. So, what is the importance of career planning? Career planning is as essential as it helps us to create a detailed path for our future professional life. Let's take a look at some of the significant benefits of career planning. First is, it can help you choose a career. The process of career planning involves identifying your strengths and searching fields that you can excel in. Once you know your strength, you can look for suitable opportunities in the fields of your choice. For instance, in this digital day and age, a career in digital services such as software development, AI, data science, education, data analytics, or digital marketing can be a great choice if you are good with technology. So the second is, career planning can ensure job safety. In the early 20th century, everyone wanted to become a barrister, as it entailed commanding respect as well as earning a lot of money. A couple of decades ago, an MBA degree was the most sought after, as it made entry into the big leagues of the corporate world a cakewalk. Today, many MBA graduates find themselves at entry-level position or in jobs that don't pay well enough. The situation is similar for lawyers and engineers as well. Only graduates from top institutes in this field are able to make it a big, or at least initially. In this situation, one should not choose to pursue an engineering or MBA degree simply because they see others going for them. If you do this without planning your career properly, you may find yourself in trouble. One of the benefits of career planning is that allows you to choose wisely and enter a field with ample employment potential. The third is, it can ensure financial stability. When you plan your career well, you also take into account future uncertainties, potential job losses, or any other unforeseen scenarios that could impact your earning potential. Career planning can also help you mitigate the financial risks of uncertainties to the extent possible. The fourth one is it can help you attain peace of mind. One of the lesser known benefits of career planning is that it provides peace of mind, especially in stressful situations. Unemployment invariably leads to stress, uncertainty, and feelings of low self-worth. But if you plan your career smartly, you would be keeping an eye on the job trends, which in turn can eliminate the possibilities of financial hardship or lack of opportunities. Among the key benefits of career planning is that it enables you to stay in sync with job trends, emerging technologies, and the market demands. Another importance of career planning. Career planning is a step-wise process which enables an individual to focus on where to want to be in life professionally. With the short-term goal and the long-term goals in place, it can help to plan their journey in their professional life. Self-assessment is necessary to understand one's capabilities and drawbacks. The various career options should be explored in detail to find a fit between one's abilities and the opportunities provided by a career option. It involves continuous learning and improvement to build and grow in the chosen career path. A good career planning helps a person grow in life in their professional career, which also helps them grow personally. Another important career plan is important as it can help you manage the direction of your career, the job skills and the knowledge you may need, how you get them, and how you can secure your dream job. Developing a career plan can make major objectives that seem impossible become much more manageable. So, what is the difference between a job and a career? A job is the occupation that you have at any given point in time. A career refers to your working life over time and could include a single job that you stay in for many years, or a series of successive jobs within the same field. For example, you may decide to become a 7th grade math teacher and stay in the job for 20 years or 30 years or more, all the while gathering experience and additional training. In this case, you could say that your job was a math teacher and that you also have a career as a math teacher, or you may decide simply that you want a career in healthcare. You might choose to begin the career as a certified nursing aide and then, with additional education, become a surgical technologist and then a registered nurse. It's important to think about your short-term and long-term goals. Depending on your path, you may complete each step just once, or you may revisit the process to change direction and discover new career options. Here are the chronological stages or steps of the career planning process. We have First is self-exploration and assessment, career research, exploration and experimentation, decision-making and career selection, final planning and action. The last is job search and acceptance. So first, we have self-exploration and assessment. First, you need to understand your needs, strengths, personality, skills, talents, and interests to make you inform your academic and career decisions. You can determine these items on your own by making a series of lists or through a variety of tests, including value evaluations, which include factors such as a salary level you desire, whether you prefer frequent interaction with other people or solitude in the workplace, how much you want your work to contribute to society as a whole, and how important prestige is to your work and the rest of your life. Interest evaluations, which gather data about your likes and dislikes regarding a wide array of activities, people and objects. Many interest profilers, including a strong compel interest inventory, match your interest in 6 types: they're realistic, investigate, artistic, social, enterprising, and conventional. Then, these types are matched with the occupation that fit them best. The next is personality evaluation, which often use online surveys like the Myers-Briggs Type Indicator. This test categorizes people into 16 personality types based on the following characteristics: introversion, or extroversions, sensing or intuition, thinking or feeling, or judging or perceiving. People with some personality types do between in certain occupation than others. For example, an introvert might not enjoy working with other people all day. The next is aptitude evaluations, which test your abilities and strengths. They can let you know if you need more education or training, and can also help you decide if you want to spend the time, money, and effort needed to start a brand new career. You can also consider meeting a career counselor. A career counselor specializes in helping professionals understand elements that can influence career decision and identify possibilities they may not have considered. A career counselor might use skill identification exercises, inventories, communication and learning styles, and other methods to help you understand yourself better. The second one is career research. After you determine your qualities and aptitude, you can decide which type of careers you can interest in with research. Start with a list of roles and industries provided by your assessments, or compile a list of characteristics in the work environment, responsibilities, and advancement opportunities you want in your career. Using those characteristics, determine more roles and industries you may want to consider. Start further research by gathering basic information about each of the careers on your list. Look at the general description of each profession along with the general labor market information, such as median salary, common benefits, educational and training requirements, and the like likelihood of being hired after meeting all the requirements. Continue narrowing down your list of possible careers by learning that working in different fields is really like. Consider using your professional network to find people already on those roles and industries, or reach out to current professionals on career-focused social media platforms. You can also read company reviews for specific roles to find out as much as you can about the advantage and disadvantage of the field. Reading first-person perspective could be an invaluable when it is time to make a choice. The third one is career exploration and experimentation. After you have narrowed down your list of possible careers, find ways to experience each career in person. Here are some ways you can get a first-hand look at what a role entails. First is information interviews. Consider asking a professional in your desired field to sit down with you to answer questions. You can discover the education, training, entry-level rules, and other aspects they followed along their career path. An informational interview can also help you build your professional network within your intended industry, which may help your job search process in the future. The next is job shadowing. This activity involves spending a day, a week, or another short period observing a professional on the job. You may accompany them to meeting your watch them demonstrate how they complete their typically daily work. You can also ask them questions through your time with them to better understand their career path. The next is volunteering. Some organizations may allow you to volunteer for tasks that your ideal role would handle to gain more hands experience. This can also help you determine whether you can enjoy working in that role, industry, or type of workplace. The next is internships. Considering an internship for more directive field experience. These opportunities are likely to give tasks more relevant to your intended role. The next is part-time work. Part-time versions of many jobs may be available with fewer entry-level requirements. You can find them in specific companies that you might consider working for, and in assistant type roles that directly interact with your intended role. Next is find a mentor in the industry. Watching an experienced mentor and listening to them think about realities of a career can be very informative. You can consider applying the career path choosing to your own planning to identify steps that you may also work for you. The last is courses. If you pursue any from the higher education, considering choosing courses related to possible career choice. These classes can provide you foundational information and training through projects and essay, which can help you understand some of the basics of a career. The fourth is decision making and career selection. With the advantage and disadvantage of all of your options, you will need to consider many factors, including the possible balance between pay and enjoyment, the pros and cons of recollection, and the work-of-life balance. Go overall of your previous research as well as any relative experience very carefully and organize them by preference from highest to lowest. These strategies helps you rank certain factors and rules over others to identify your top choice. Consider also identifying alternative yet similar options should your decide change as you progress or your job search does not lead to that road. The fifth one is final planning and action. Gather all the information you have learned and determine an action plan. This plan should include background information such as your employment history, education, level of training, volunteer, and other unpaid experience. It should also include your professional license or certifications, the results of the self-evaluations mentioned in the first section, the careers counselor's advice you have received. Create detailed list of short or long-term goals that you will need to achieve before you reach your final career goal. This list should include all of the educational and training goals required to pursue your chosen career path. You should consider the barriers to reaching those goals and how you plan to overcome them. These barriers could be financial, educational, vocational, or personal, such as the cost of college, family's obligation, or the needs for tools and supplies for your chosen career. Consider writing out each step for your intended career path, including the steps you've already taken to see the progress you've already made. You can also do this for your alternative option to ensure you are prepared to follow them should your ideal option not work out. And the last one is job search and acceptance. As your career plan to begin your job search, identify specific roles and companies you're interested in applying to, and compare those preferences and requirements to your career plan. See if there are steps you still need to take care or if you're qualified to apply. You can also use your goal setting strategy and career plan to write an effective cover letter that demonstrate your passions for the role, field, and employer. You can use your career plan to identify the steps you've taken in your path thus far and highlight your goal setting skills and dedication. You can also apply these items during the interview process to prove your interest and qualification to prospective employers. If you receive a job offer, determine whether the salary, benefits, location, work-life balance, and responsibilities match your self-assessments, and action plan. This career planning process is for identifying what you are good at, knowing how your skills, talents, values, and interests translate into possible jobs or careers, matching your skills, etc. to existing jobs or careers, matching your career goals to your financial needs, matching your career goals to your educational needs, making good decisions for yourself, and finding ways to meet your educational and financial needs on your schedule.
Know your legal employment rights. These employee rights applies to personal possessions including handbags or briefcases, storage lockers accessible only by the employee, and private mail address only to employee. Employers may also have a right to privacy in their telephone conversations or voicemail messages. Other important employee rights include right to be free from discrimination and harassment of all types. Then rights to a safe workplace free of dangerous conditions, toxic substances, and other potential safety hazards. Right to be free from retaliations for filing a claim or complaint against an employer, or these are sometimes called whistleblower rights. And right to fair wages for work performed. So next is cost of living and lifestyle. Cost of living and lifestyle, if we say cost of living, it is the amount of money needed to cover basic expenses such as housing, foods, taxes, and healthcare in a certain place and time period. The cost of living is often used to compare how expensive it is to live in one city versus another. The cost of living is tied to wages. Next is the cost of living index. The cost of living index, it is include expenses such as food, shelter, transportation, energy, clothing, healthcare, and childcare. So a cost of living index, it is also used to track how much the costs of basic expenses rise over a period. Next is the cost of living and wages. The cost of living and wages. So, the Department of Health and Human Services set that federal poverty level at $26,000 for a family of 4. 5, that's equivalent to about $12.60 per hour for a full-time worker. A living wage must at least be greater than the poverty level. Next is the wage increases and cost of living adjustment. The cost of living adjustment, it is an increase in income that keeps up with the cost of living. So it's often applied to wages, salaries, and benefits. This means that Social Security beneficiary will receive a 1.3% increase in benefits. So we have the ways that a company can value its employees. So first is flexibility, recognition, interaction, benefits, and the last is feedback. Flexibility. So flexibility, it is the range of motion in a joint or group of joints, or the ability to move a joints. Effectability through a complete range of motion. So flexibility training includes like stretching exercises to lighten the muscles, and may include activities like yoga or tai chi. Next is recognition. Recognition, it is the action of recognizing, the state of being recognized, such as an acknowledgement, especially formal acknowledgement of the political acceptance of a government or a nation. So recognition, it is a knowledge or feeling that someone or something present has been encountered before. Next is the interaction. Interaction, it is the act of talking or doing things with other people. Board games encourage interaction. So the action or the influence of things on one another, interaction of the heart and lungs. Next is the benefits. So benefits something that produce good or helpful results or effects or that promote well-being. So advantage, discounted prices and other benefits of museum membership that benefits outweigh the rates of taking the drug, reaping the benefits of their hard work, changes that will be to you benefits. Then the last is feedback. Feedback, it is the transmission of evaluative or corrective information about an action, event, or process. The original or controlling source also. So the information transmitted the. So next is the financial and legal aspects of employment. Cost of living. The cost of living is the amount of money needed to cover basic expenses such as housing, food, taxes, and healthcare in a certain place and time period. So the cost of living is often used to compare how expensive it is to live in one city versus another. The cost of living is tied to which if expenses are higher in a city, such as New York, for example, salary levels must be higher so that people can afford to live in that city. How to determine which working style you use. First is evaluate your preferred mode of communication. Almost all of us have policies and preferences as they relate to communication. First, for receipts, it will allow them to receive communications using the medium of their choice based on the time of day. Their presents you status, how busy they are at a given time or else. Next is think about how you like to plan your day. Step 1. Break down your big goals. Review your personal and personal goals. When you sit down to plan your day and add tasks that get you closer to both. Break down long-term goals into daily tasks. If you're struggling to create realistic daily to-do lists that reflect all of your goals, you may have too many. Third is determine how you deal with conflict. So we have the 4 kinds of how to determine with a conflict. First is briefly describe the conflict that occurred. Second is mention your role in the situation. Third is explain how you approach the problem and any action you took. And the last is share results that prove how the outcome was positive. Next is know your preferred work style personally. So we have the 4 working styles. First is logical. Second is detail-oriented. Third is supportive. And the last is idea-oriented. First is logical. Logical, the definition of logic, it is a science that studies the principles of correct reasoning. An example of logic is deducing the truth. Two truths imply a third truth. An example of logic is the process of coming to the conclusion of who stole a cookie based on who was in the room at the time. Next is the detail-oriented. Detail-oriented, it is a character trait that means being able to pay close attention and notice minor details. A detail-oriented person is able to give a task their undivided attention and catch mistakes, errors, or changes before they snowball into a bigger problem. Next is supportive. So it is obvious that the supportives is providing encouragement or emotional help. Then the last is idea-oriented. The idea-oriented, it is people have big ideas and seeing scenarios in the future is no problem for them. Task-oriented folk tend to be more in the now and ask, what do I need to do right now to make things happen?
Today, we're gonna talk about some of an effective employment search strategies like assemble a resume, identify job opportunities, write an effective cover letter, obtain a strong reference letter, apply, interview for success, then negotiate and accept job. First, let's talk about assemble a resume. Creating a resume can be challenging when you start thinking about all the information you need to share with prospective employers. Your employment history, educational background, skills, and qualification needed to be presented in a way that will help you get selected for a job interview. Rather than a simple list of jobs you have held, it's important to include information specific to the position for which you are applying. Then, plan the framework of your resume. In planning the framework of resume, you must consider the basic framework of your resume. More isn't necessarily better, so aim for a concise over length. Employers are looking for a synopsis of your credential, not everything you have done in your career. Your goal is to wow the hiring manager and present a document that promotes you as an ideal candidate for the position. Then the following are the tips for building a resume that will help you to get a job interview. First is compile your personal and employment information. So, in compiling your personal and employment information, you must collect all the information you need to include before you start writing a resume. It's much easier to write, edit, and format a document when you have all the details you need in front of you. Before you get started, make a list of the contact information you want to use. All your jobs, your education, your training, certifications, skills, and other credentials. Second is write your resume. When you have compiled all the information you need, it should be listed in the following order. So first is resume heading, profile, summary of qualifications, experience, volunteer work, education, certification, skills, and personal interest. Then, the following are the content of your resume heading. First is your full name, second, street address, third, city, state, or zip code, then fourth, email address, and lastly is your telephone number. Then second is profile. Adding a profile or an objectives to your resume gives the employer a brief overview of your qualifications. This is an optional component of a resume. If you include it, focus on what prospective employers are seeking rather than what you want in your next job. Hiring managers want to know what you have to offer. Then third is your summary of qualification. A summary of qualifications is another optional. Then your content of your resume heading is your full name, street address, city, state, or zip code, email address, and then telephone number. Then in your profile, adding a profile or an objective to your resume, give an employer a brief overview of your qualifications. This is an optional component of a resume. If you include it, focus on what prospective employers are seeking rather than what you want in your next job. Hiring managers want to know what you have to offer. Then, on your summary of qualifications, it is another optional sections of a resume. It's a statement that includes your skills, abilities, experience, and what qualifies you for the position. Then experience. Your work experience or history is the most important component of your resume. Employers will want to know where you have worked, when you worked there, and what responsibilities you held in each roles that you had. They will be looking to see how your experience lines up with what they are looking for in a prospective employees. Then your volunteer work. If you have volunteer experience that's related to the job you are applying for, or if you have volunteers to avoid an employment gap, list volunteering as you would the jobs you have the help. Review these tips for including volunteer work on your resume. Then your education. The education section generally comes next. You need to list a degree earned with the highest first if you have been out of school for a few years. If you're a student or recent graduate, the education sections of your resume can be listed above. Your employment history, if you have work experience, list it below that section's education should be listed in reverse chronological order. With the most recent and advanced education first, include the name of the school, the degree of earned, and the date you graduated. Then, whether you include your GPA on your resume depends on how long ago you graduate and how high your GPA is. Here's information on when to list your GPA on your resume. Then your resume heading. Your resume heading content are the following: your name, street address, city, state, or zip code, email address, and your telephone number. Then, second is profile. Adding a profile or an objective to your resume gives the employer a brief overview of your qualifications. This is an optional component of a resume. If you include it, focus on what prospective employers are seeking rather than what you want in your next job. Hiring managers want to know what you have to offer. Then third is your summary of qualifications. A summary of qualifications is another optional sections of a resume. It's a statement that includes your skills, abilities, experience, and what qualifies you for the job position. Then, your experience. Your work history is the most important component of your resume. Employers will want to know where you have worked, when you worked there, and what responsibilities you held in each roles that you had. They will be looking to see how your experience line up with what they are looking for in a prospective employees. Then your volunteer work. If you have a volunteer experience that relates to the jobs you are applying for, or if you have a volunteer to avoid an employment gap, list a volunteering as you would be the jobs you have held. Then your education. The education section generally comes next. You need only to list a degree earned with the highest first, and if you have been out of school for years. If you're a student or a recent graduate, the education sections of your resume can be listed above your employment history. If you work experience, list it below the sections. Education should be listed reversed, chronological order. With the most recent advanced education first, includes the name of the school, the degree earned, and the date you graduated. Then your certifications. The next sections of your resume includes any certifications you have. Then awards and accomplishment. Don't be shy about mentioning awards and achievements you have earned. These show that employers that you are well credentialed candidate who have been recognized for accomplishment. Then skills. The sections of a resume includes the skills you have that are directly related to the job which you are applying. Employers typically list required or preferred skills in the job listing when itemizing the qualifications per the position. List your most closely related abilities here using ability list format. Then, lastly is your personal interest. If you have personal interests that are strongly related to the positions you are applying for, list them here. This can be helpful if you are applying for a job where you don't have a lot of related work experience, but you do have experience achievement in other days. Then, the third step in building a resume is choosing a resume layout. There are 3 basic types of resume format you can use. The format you select will depend on your employment history and credentials. So, the 3 formats are the following: chronological, functional, and combination. Chronological format, this is the most frequently used and present your work history starting with the most recent job first. Then functional format. If you have a spotty work history, you may want to use a functional resume that focuses on your skills and experience. And lastly is the combination format. This resume layout includes both your skills and your chronological work history. Then, the fourth step is the formatting your resume text. So, when you're choosing a font of your resume, simple work best. The exceptions to that rules will be if you are applying for a design-related positions where resume can show your design skills. So, in choosing a font, a basic font like an Arial, Calibri Times New Roman, or Vernada is a good choice because your resume needs to be easy for a hiring manager to read. Consistency is also important. Use the same font throughout your resume and in your cover letter. Then, font size and type. The font style and size can be vary. For example, you can use a larger font of your name and sections headings. Use bold and italic to highlight the details of your education and employment history. Then list versus paragraphs. A job description that includes a bulleted list of achievements is easier to read than a paragraph. Each sentence should provide a brief synopsis of your strongest accomplishment in the position. Then, the 5th steps are save the documents. So, select a file name for your resume that includes your own name when you're saving your resume, so that it would be easier for the hiring manager to track your application materials. Be prepared to save it in a variety of formats like a Microsoft Word, Google Docs, or PDF. For example, so that you can respond to employer requests for a specific type of document. Then the 6th steps is proofread and print the final version. Before your resume is finalized, it's important to carefully proofread it. Then print a copy to make sure what's on the printed page lines up with what's on your computer. Once it's set, print a document copies to bring to interviews with you. If you don't have a printer, you can check with your local library or an office supply store to see if you can access a printer there. Then, 7 steps is target your resume for each job you apply for. Even though your resume is done, there is one more quick step that will help your resume get selected by the applicant tracking system. The companies use the screen resume and the hiring managers who read the applicant that are selected. Incorporate the qualifications for the job listing is your resume job descriptions, skills, summary, and objectives or profile. It only takes a few minutes, but using the same words and terms the employer uses will help ensure you're a strong match for the job. Then keep your resume current. Once you've got your resume finished, plan to update it regularly. It would be easier to keep it current if you keep track on your accomplishment rather than having to make a major update at all once. Then the second employment search strategies is identifying job opportunities. Today, people have to be nimble about locating new job opportunities, preferably before they're forced to do it. Here are some new strategies to keep your career moving onward and upward. First is networking. It's known as the hidden job market. Many of the best jobs are never advertised. They are filed by candidates who learn on them by words of mouth from friends, former co-workers, and ex-bosses. Networking is another word of socializing. You can join professional associations, attend events for graduates, connect with professionals who work in your field, and take every chance you get to meet up in person or online with others in your field. Various online sites such as LinkedIn allow you to broaden your network to include friends of friends. The bigger your network, the more likely to find out about new opportunities. The second employment search strategies is identifying job opportunities. So today, people have to be nimble about locating new job opportunities, preferably before they're forced to do it. Here are some new strategies to keep your career moving onward and upward. First is networking. It's known as the hidden job market. Many of the best jobs are never advertised. They are filed by candidates who learn on them by words of mouth from friends, former co-workers, and ex-bosses. Networking is another word for socializing. You can join professional associations and attend events for graduates of your school, connect with professionals who work on your field, take every chance you get to meet up in persons or online with others in your field. Various online sites allows you to broaden your network to include friends of friends. The bigger your network, the more likely you'll find out about new opportunities. Then second is referrals. Some employers offer incentives to other employees for referring a successful candidates to the company. It's a win-win situation for everyone. You get a new job and your contact gets a finder's fee for attracting a top-notch employee. That's a relatively rare, but there's nothing stopping you from asking valued friends who work in your field to let you know about any opening. The working relationship you create at a very job may open other doors years in the future. Then third is job board and career websites. Job board used to be used that a solid surface of a wall where vacancies were advertised for all to see. Job boards have moved to virtual format, and that's good news for all of us since their reach is far greater. Many state governments provide job boards and job banks that can be accessed by all. You can also use job engines or search engines or any of vast number of career-related websites that post job openings such as Monster.com, Google for Jobs, Career Builder, and Indeed. Many other databases specialize in freelance and contract work, including people per hour, Upwork, Simply Hired, and Crowded. There are also specialized job search sites for particular fields like Dice for Tech, Professional, and Art, Third for Artists. Then the fourth is job fair. A job fair are often targeted towards specific industries. Although some jobs are recruitment fair are more generalized. The promotional material will include list of the organizations that will be presented. Investigate any companies that interest you, bring a batch of resumes and business cards, and get ready to sell yourself. Consider any conversations with recruiters as mini interviews that can set you apart from other applicants. Some organizations may even offer a-site interviews to candidates that match their requirements. Then fifth, company websites. If you already have your dream employer in mind, go directly to the career sections of the company website. If you track opening on it sites, there is chance you'll find just the opportunity that you are been waiting for. Then create a list of employers that you like to work for and visit their websites often. If you really set a work for a specific company, it may take some time to find just the opportunities that fits your skill set. But if you've got time, this might be the optimal methods of finding your dreams job. Then, cold calling. If you don't see anything job listed posted for a company you are particularly interested in, you might consider making a cold call. Phone or email people in the organization after finding their contact details on the company website. Ask about upcoming vacancies and attach a copy of your resume. Keep in mind that this kind of contact may not always be well received. You'll be lucky to get any response at all, but there's always a chance it gives you the inside track on your upcoming vacancies. Then, leverage social media. There are many different social media platforms you can use to search for jobs and interact with companies you like to work for. You can search for company page or site like Facebook and Instagram and follow them. No matter where they are in the world, by keeping up to date with a company's social media pages, you can gain valuable insight into their tones, interests, and work style. You can also comment on their posts and start to build a relationship with them. You may even hear about job openings you have through these channels. If you are using social media for professional purposes, it's important to make your own profile suitable. This should convey an image of you even though you are using the platform for personal rather than professional purposes. Use your real name and publish appropriate pictures and posts. If you are using this approach, it is a good idea to go back through the context you posted and make sure that everything you have on your profile is suitable for a potential employer to see. Ask yourself if your social media profile show you and your lifestyle appropriate professionally. Then lastly is inquire at staffing agencies. Signing up with a staffing or recruiting agency may be worth considering if you want to find a job more effectively. Most towns have several staffing agencies that you can register. Some of the industry specific and other deals with many different industries. You will likely need to provide a resume as well as copy of your certifications and qualifications. And you may need to sit to tests and such as typing speed or knowledge of specific industries. Some agencies only deal with short-term and temporary contract at first. This may not be exactly what you are hoping for, but if you gain temporary employment with a company and impress them with your work, it could lead to a permanent job. It also gives you the chance to meet people who work in your industry, which can lead to other networking or referral opportunities. A short-term contract can also provide you with a further experience to find out if you are actually suited to the role. The third strategy is write an effective cover letter. First, put your contact details and the employers in the header. Second, address the hiring manager by their name. Third, hook the hiring manager with a strong introduction. Fourth, prove that you're the perfect candidates for the job. Fifth, close your cover letter with a request to interview. Sixth, sign up with a professional closing salutation. And lastly is review your cover letter. Then, the fourth search strategy is obtain strong reference letter. There are three types of reference letter. First is professional references. Second, character or personal references. And the third is academic references. Then, fifth strategy is apply. So, how to apply for a job? First is search for job in your field. Second, research a hiring companies. Third, ready your resume for submission. Fourth, decide if a cover letter is right for you. Fifth, submit your resume and online applications. And lastly, application follow-up. Then, sixth strategies is interview for success. So first, prepare for the interview. Second, dress for success. Third, practice makes perfect. Fourth, the interview. And lastly, after the interview. And lastly is negotiate and accept the job. So after all the effort for perfecting the resume, securing references, and preparing for interviews has finally paid off. So how to negotiate and accept the job? First is be friendly, be thankful, consider why you are an asset, and be open to compromise.